Your dreams are bigger, bolder, and more badass than the life you're living now, but something just keeps getting in the way. Join certified coach and former therapist Diane Wingert for the Driven Woman podcast. She'll show you how to get rid of whatever is holding you back so you can stop spinning your wheels and up-level your life. Get ready to hop in and buckle up. This is the Driven Woman podcast, and we're heading for the fast lane.
Well, hey there, Driven Woman. Now, you already know that one of my favorite topics is women and confidence, specifically how we can get more of it so that we can be more visible and make the money and impact that we really want to make. Well, today's guest on the podcast is approaching the topic of women and confidence from a slightly different angle. You see, Scarlett De Bease is a personal wardrobe stylist, and she shows female solopreneurs what clothes to wear. Some of them are already in their closets so that they can attract better clients and make more money. Scarlett guides her clients to create their own unique signature style, feel more confident, and be fearless about being seen and heard so that they can be excited to put themselves out in the world that is game-changing and life-changing for their business. One of the things I think is so interesting about Scarlett is that she is adamant that she is not a fashionista, that she can help any woman who says she has a closet full of clothes but nothing to wear, and how she was actually raised to embrace being different and standing out. That is such an advantage for solopreneurs, but now she is spilling the tea and sharing all her secrets with us on the Driven Woman Entrepreneur podcast. Well, I'm sure you can't wait for me to get right to it, so let's do it, shall we? So Scarlett, obviously you knew we were going to be talking today, and you knew that this conversation was a podcast interview, but I like surprises. So I hope you don't mind. I want to share something with you that I don't think I've ever told you. And that is that even though we recently connected through a couple of different online communities that we're both members of, I've actually, I don't want to say had my eye on you like stalker vibe-ish, but I have noticed you probably for at least the last year. And what I noticed about you is that you had a quiet confidence, that you always look put together. And I had no idea what you did for a living. You caught my eye. And it wasn't until I actually got to know you and I learned about what you do, which we're going to talk about today in detail, that I realized how clever it is that you always wear something red because your name is Scarlett.
Almost always. It's true.
What a clever girl you are. So I want you to tell me first, because I know I can't be the only one that does not know the difference. Do you refer to yourself as an image consultant, a personal stylist, or something else?
Yeah, so both. I used to prefer personal stylist, or one client calls me a personal wardrobe stylist, because I didn't like the sound of image consultant. I didn't like the vibe that sometimes your image, I thought it was a little off-putting. But then when I would introduce myself as a personal stylist, somebody would go, "Oh, you're an image consultant." So I finally gave up. But there are image consultants out there that do a bigger service than I do. They might do etiquette. There are image consultants who specialize in just etiquette. So there are others who, specialize in posture. So it's a bigger name, but I help people look good on stage, on camera, in person, at a party, whatever, mostly with their clothes and not so much their etiquette. But there are people out there who need to be taught, which hand holds the spoon and the knife. I mean,
there are people who need to be taught a lot more than that when it comes to image. As a matter of fact, I got to tell you this, the first time I heard the term image consultant, I thought of, did you watch the Netflix series Inventing Anna?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it. In fact, I did a whole episode about that for my 100th episode of this podcast.
Oh,
But I thought she could have used an image consultant, not for her dressing, because she had she had a super cute vibe,
yeah.
but the way she presented herself. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I thought an image consultant
Right.
was. But
Right.
you also say, I'm not a fashionista. Now, you came from the beauty business. You help people look better. You're a New Yorker. So square that away for me, because I just sort of assume that automatically makes you a fashionista. But you
Yeah.
say no.
I say no. I don't believe that shopping for more and more and more is the answer. I don't believe that being a trend fiend or trend fan is the answer. Just because it in doesn't mean it's right for you. And a lot of women make the mistake of, well, the cutouts are in, so I'll wear the cutout, and the cutout doesn't work for everybody. Or, years ago, the low cut pants, that was a lovely thing. So if it's not really right for you and you're wearing it because it's a trend, you're being a victim, a fashion victim, and you're not showing any individuality or any creativity. And I strongly believe that a woman should stand out in a good way and not disappear in the crowd. And you can see, when you go out and you see the women, who are out to lunch, whatever, they all look the same. They all have the same kind of look, the same bag. Sometimes they have the same lips and nose and cheeks, but still, but they all have the same vibe. And then, like, what makes you special? And as a business owner, you should stand out in a good way and show that you're different and that you're not like everybody else. So I just don't believe that following a trend or buying what's in style or having to wear a label, like a fancy label with, that's with the initials on you or on your bag or on your shoes. I just don't believe in that. And I was brought up to be different. I strongly believe in being different and unique. And I make sure all my clients, they don't look like everybody else either, in a good way.
Okay, we were meant to be friends. Okay, I'm just being very forward with you, and I won't take no for an answer. But seriously, I always say what makes you different makes you special. And most of the people that I work with have spent the better part of their adult lives trying to conform to the norm, trying to blend in, trying to fit in. I've come to understand there's a difference between fitting in and belonging. You don't have any chance of belonging if you're not yourself.
Yeah.
You'll just fit in, but you won't ever really belong because it's not actually you. But I think it takes a lot of courage to choose to be you and especially to stand out. Now, you said that you were raised to be that way. I got to hear more about this because that is not the way most people are raised, including me.
Yeah. So my parents they came here after World War II, German and Hungarian. My mother was German. So they got away from there because it was a mess.
Yes.
And they came here with nothing, like most immigrants do today. And so she knew she had a pretty good growing up. She was, well off with her family. And now she had like nothing. So she knew the importance of what we wore and the image that it gave. But she also didn't believe that just because something was in, you had to wear it too. Mm-hmm. So she was more like, you have your own style and your own class, show that you're classy. So she was able to find things at great prices. She knew where all the sample sales were. I was like the best dressed 7-year-old, for a long time because I don't sample dresses. And like an example was when the white go-go boots were in.
I remember them well.
Yeah. So I really wanted white go-go boots. I really did. And she was determined not to get them from me. So at one of these outlet centers, she found them in orange. I loved her, but that was the one time maybe she went too far.
You could have sold them to me. We should have known each other back in the day. I love orange.
I had orange ones, so I was brought up not to conform. Yeah. So I just kept that with me. Like, why should I be like everybody else? Why blend in? I don't understand that. And so I just really believe in that. And you don't have to, there are people who do what I do who are totally into labels and totally into the trends. It's all about that. That's not who I am, and that's not who my clients are. So
it totally makes sense. Well, I'm just, a lot of people some people say they're natural born entrepreneurs. I tend to believe entrepreneurs are made, not born. However, you had a decided advantage being raised to that it was okay to stand out, that not only was it okay to stand out, it was preferable. And here's how you do it, because a lot of the struggles that women have, we both work with female entrepreneurs, a lot of the struggles that women have as relatively new entrepreneurs is having the courage to stand out when we've been told to do the opposite for a very long time. So I would have to imagine that that's been a real advantage for you. And who hires you? I know that we both work with female entrepreneurs, but like who actually realizes this is something I need and seeks it out?
Typically, she has her own business, occasionally executives, but typically she has her own business. And she realizes that she's not sending the right message anymore, or maybe never has and wants to make a difference. Maybe she wants to up-level her business. But for the most part, women who hire me have their bodies have changed a bit,
No,
happens.
that's, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So things aren't quite where they used to be, or there's more of them.
Oh, yeah. Look how gracious you are the way you articulated that.
And so all of a sudden, the way they used to dress, it's just not working anymore. It's not working for them. And so they're beginning to feel very self-conscious and they're losing self-confidence. And as you know, confidence is like the best accessory. No matter what you do, if you don't have that, things are going to go for you. So she understands that how people see her is really important. And I want to add that it's really how you see yourself first. So if a woman is looking in the mirror and feeling insecure, or sometimes turning down speaking invitations or even networking invitations, or going out. I mean, I cannot tell you how many women have told me that they come up with a bug right before it's time to go because they can't figure out what to put on. So you're losing money, you're losing joy, you're losing participating in life.
Opportunities.
Exactly. And so the women who realize, okay, enough's enough. I have tried to get the body back that I had when I was 20. I don't know anybody who's done that naturally. And so they're ready to step it up. And I've had women hire me who are very successful and then realized that they were dressing in a way that didn't show how successful they were. So here they are talking to women, their clients, and telling them what they have to do to grow their business. And when you do, you'll be very successful and you'll be like me. And then but they weren't looking like the role model they were talking about. And so they had to change their clothes to change how others perceive them and also how they perceive themselves. It's not unusual for people to, say, if not now, when? And that's kind of where people tend to hire me. They might follow me for 2 years and then they go, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of trying to do this on my own. I'm tired of trying to guess what works for me, what looks good on me. I'm tired of going to the store and buying what everybody else is wearing and it doesn't look as good on me. I'm tired of following those Instagram reels that show you how if you tie the blouse this way,
Yeah.
It doesn't really work. So until you know really what's right for you, uniquely right for you, you tend to kind of get in a rut. And that's many women are smart enough to say, I want to climb out of this rut.
I am literally, it's not in a way kind of seeing my life flash before my eyes as you're talking, because I'm remembering so many things over the years. I mean, this is not a new problem, Scarlett, obviously. Yeah. Do you remember the whole dress for success movement?
Yep.
And do you remember you would get your seasons done?
Oh, yeah.
Now, anybody listening who's under 40 is probably scratching their head or going to the Google gods to find out what the heck we're talking about. But women and feeling confident about their clothes, that's not something that automatically comes as you climb the corporate ladder, or you are a founder of a company, or your company goes public, or you just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or your paycheck just keeps growing. That doesn't automatically happen. I can always tell when another female entrepreneur has done some kind of work when she gets new headshots And the whole styling aspect looks dramatically different from
Mm-hmm.
everything I've seen her do. So I'm thinking, okay, what happened? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes she just published a book that she's been promising,
Right.
I say threatening to write for like 20 years, or she just booked a TED Talk, or, maybe she just got divorced or her mom just passed. I mean, it could be anything, but like something kind of flips the switch. So help me understand, Scarlett, there's so many women. I know you've got to hear this a gazillion times. I have a closet full of clothes, but I swear to you, I have nothing to wear. And I know that I have said that out loud to nobody, but
Yeah.
thought it, said it, and literally stared at a whole wall of clothing and thought, there's nothing here for me to wear. What
Right.
is that? Why does that happen? It's so
It
confusing.
happens because women keep buying the wrong clothes.
Mm,
Or they're buying something that looks incredibly similar to what they already own. So more of the same is not going to give you a new outfit.
whoops. I'm looking at my blouse. I'm looking at some blouses here. There are 4 blouses that are the same, but just the print is different. Okay, you
Yeah,
got me.
yeah,
You got me. What else?
yeah,
What else?
yeah. Well, I do color analysis also,
Mhm.
so I help people understand what the better colors are for them to wear near their face. And when you stick to those colors, they all actually work together. So when you stick to the colors that are best for you, you'll be able to make more outfits using the clothes that you have. But if you buy things that is like a random style or print or color there, it's very hard to incorporate it into what you already own. And then another thing women do is they tend to go, okay, I have this event coming up. I'm going to go out and buy another outfit. And I can find an outfit, virtually or in person. I can find an outfit that's perfect for them. But their mind is, I don't have anything because I keep wearing the same 2 things over and over again. So I need to go buy more. And the truth is that when you have the right clothes in your closet, you can have more outfits with less than you have in it right now. I mean, I cannot tell how many closets I've gone through where bags of clothes are removed because once you see how something doesn't look good on you, you don't want it. But they have more
Mm.
outfits afterwards because now you have more combinations and they're more flattering. So it's very common. So people think that if you have to have a lot to have something to wear, you don't have to have a lot. I don't even have a lot of clothes at all. Shocking.
I don't actually want a lot of clothes. In fact, something that I tried to learn a little bit about maybe a couple of years ago is all of a sudden I was seeing everywhere on Instagram capsule wardrobe. And I have 2 trains of thought about this, and I'm sure you hear this all the time. On the one hand, I thought, wow, this looks great. I mean, I was really heavily getting into mindfulness and meditation and minimalism, and I'm going to get rid of all the clutter in my life. The whole Marie Kondo thing. I just want to Marie Kondo everything. And then I thought, aren't I going to feel limited? So I think there's on the one hand, the idea that I'm going to get bored
Yeah.
if I only have these few things. Do
Mm-hmm.
people hear that? Because I guess maybe I'm a little confused too. Like a capsule wardrobe is you have certain basics that everything goes with everything. So this is the way you talk about have less, but actually have more useful outfits. But is that the whole story, or is there more to it than that?
Yes, the true capsule wardrobe that they might show online or like in London once I saw a rack capsule wardrobe, 2 white things, 2 beige things, 2 black things, 2 navy things. Okay. It's a uniform. It is, I mean, it's so boring. Where's the personality? And again,
Mm.
you're looking like everybody else. All my clients have capsule wardrobes because everything can be mixed and matched, but it's not boring.
So everybody has a capsule wardrobe because they have fewer clothes that they can make more outfits, but
Exactly.
everybody has a different capsule.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
And
got
it
it.
really bugs me when I see, Michael Kors. He wears a black T-shirt and like jeans or black pants every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want you to buy that. It's okay for him, but he wants to make sure you buy all his clothes that are all different, right?
Right, right.
So for him, he's a very very wealthy man. He can get away with it. But if I was to wear the same thing over and over again, then how would I attract anybody to want to work with me? Or if you did the same thing, it's like boring. You got to show some creativity. You have to be a little different to stand out from this ocean of other people who do whatever it is you do. So no, I hate that whole thing about the white tops, the black tops, the beige tops. And besides that, not everybody looks good in black next to their face. Not everybody looks good in white next to their face. So that's I hate generalizations. Everything is specific if you really want to be able to open up your closet and always know what to wear. It has to be really specific for you.
I could almost predict your personal values, because values work is something I've gotten really heavily into just to help people in a way minimalize their business so that they're not trying to do a million different programs and be on a million different platforms. I kind of do with people's businesses what you do with their wardrobe. But you're absolutely right. There's two different, I don't want to say competing priorities, but it would be very easy to get this wrong. If you want to streamline, if you want to know that instead of having a lot of stuff in your closet, everything in your closet is useful in a number of different ways, that actually invites both freedom and ease, but also creativity. But if everything is this prescriptive, you need 2 of these and 2 of those and 3 of these, you're not only going to have fewer clothes, you're going to have fewer choices and a whole lot less creativity too. Is there a kind of person that would actually work great for, but not so much for anyone else, or you just don't love it for anybody?
An accountant?
I know an accountant who has green hair, so maybe not even for her, but
yeah, no, not really. No, I mean, seriously, if you're just going to be someone who's just going to be working with paper all the time and it makes you happy, but is anybody really happy just sort of disappearing? Not really. Nobody really wants to disappear.
Not happy, Scarlett, but I think one of the things that we come back to again and again is confidence and standing out and how crucial that is for women who are self-employed. I mean, unless you happen to have some genius thing that you do or you sell or you offer that nobody else on the planet does or could do, then you could look like a freaking robot or a total freak show. But almost all of us do something that others do. And in many cases, I mean, how many business coaches do you know? Tons, right? How many, there aren't enough fingers and toes, right? But how many personal stylists or image consultants do you know? Tons, tons, tons. So how do you set yourself apart? It seems to me that relies on self-awareness, self-trust, and a willingness to experiment, which I think for a lot of people feels risky and scary. How do you help somebody who's maybe she's a superstar, maybe she is a rock star, maybe she is a total badass in her business, but she's really put off redesigning her wardrobe to suit the body and the life she has now. And she's finally realized it. I think I'm holding myself back because the next level clients I want to serve are not going to buy into what I got going on here. They're not. No, like if you were looking for a multi-million-dollar property, you're probably not going to get a vote of confidence if the realtor rolls up in a Toyota. Nothing against Toyotas, okay? Yeah. But it's out of alignment and it doesn't read on brand.
Yeah, and also showing up in an outfit that looks like you just went to the supermarket. You're not going to sell those multi-million-dollar homes. Absolutely. Yeah, I do work with agents too. So yeah, that's true. You know, the women who have a great business and who do hire me, they have reached a point where they want to do something different, but they don't know what to do. And they need help. So they know they want to do something different. They're resistant to doing something different, granted. But what I tell my clients is that when I find you clothes, they're going to be things that you would not have picked out for yourself. And you might look at them and say, it ain't happening. But we have an arrangement now, and you have to try it on and just take a look.
Experimentation.
Experiment. You have to try something different on. You're not going to know. And I would say 9.5 out of 10 times, the very garment someone said, oh, that's not happening. Whether it's on a hanger in the store or online, they try it because I said, let's try it. I didn't make it, but let's see what we can learn. 9.5 out of 10 times, they end up loving it. but they prejudged. We all do that. They just assumed something wouldn't work, or they said, well, that's not for me. But until you actually try it on, you don't know. And then once you go out of that comfort zone and you can see how great you can look, no matter what size you are, that opens up the door to a lot more willingness to experiment and to try different things. And as you can tell, I'm a big fan of accessories. I do think that that's a great way to make any outfit be different in a good way and stand out and show personality and creativity and make you not look like everybody else in that room.
Hey, it's Diane with a quick interruption to the episode because I've got a couple questions I just need to ask you. One, are you where you want to be in your business? Are you making the money you want to make, working the hours you want to work, seeing the clients that you want to see, and getting the income and impact that you went into business to get? And if the answer is no, what's holding you back? Why is there a gap between where you are and where you want to be? Do you know the answer? In my experience working with female solopreneurs, so many of them don't even really know what's standing in their way, and that is so frustrating. So I created a little quiz called What's Holding You Back? There's a link to it in the show notes. If this is you, please take the quiz, and if you do, DM me on Instagram at Coach Diane Wingert and let me know your results. Now, on the other hand, if you already know what's holding you back, if you already know what the obstacles are that are getting in your way from achieving the income and impact that you deserve and desire, then I don't want you to take the quiz. Forget about the quiz. Go directly to the other link in the show notes and book a consult with me. I may be the very coach, and this may be the year that you put all of that behind you and really have the business that you went into business to have. For everybody else, keep on listening. And if you find value in what you hear, don't forget to leave me a rating and review on Apple or wherever you're listening. Here we go. Back to the show.
Well, one thing that you helped give me insight on is how sensitive I am. And because I'm an empath, being in traffic and loud noises throughout the day, just getting to homes, that alone was really draining. And now working from home, it's like I'm able to conserve that energy and working with the parents to really teach them kind of concepts and bigger things that have a bigger impact. Because one thing that you also mentioned was because I was working so much, I didn't have time to do the things that were meaningful to me. And that included learning, getting into the grind. You kind of just like, okay, well, I'm just going to do instead of really stepping back and looking at more strategic ways to have, a longer term plan.
Have you ever gotten it wrong? Like maybe not with a client, but like, have you ever worn something that you thought, I'm not so sure about this, but I'm going to send up a trial balloon, see what people think, see how they respond, see how I feel when I'm wearing this. And then went home and thought, oh my God, I want to hit my head on the wall. Like, what was I thinking?
When I was much, much younger. So when I was working for a very, very big skincare company in France, in Europe, and they were coming to America. And so I was part of the team that was bringing it to America. And I went to Paris for some training. And I was 23, whatever, and very, very prim and proper. And I packed what I thought would be very appropriate for my trip there. And then the owner's son said to me, "You want to go to the discotheque tonight?" It used to be called the discotheque.
I remember.
And I went, sure. And so I went back to my hotel room and I changed into my sensible sandals. Yes, I had sensible sandals at 23.
Wow.
And my brown, awful, awful color, they don't even make it anymore, matching shirt with a bow up to here.
I remember those bows up to your chin.
And the little prissy skirt, that flounced out a little bit, and my whatever I call them, my comfortable sandals, my practical sandals, and I walked into that discotheque, and I thought I would die because all the women were gorgeous, and tall and thin, and they all had on jeans and cowboy boots and t-shirts or white button downs tucked in. And I walked in like, looking for the library, like I'm a librarian,
But you did stand out, right? So you hit that.
I got humiliated, but I did get humiliated. I
Oh.
did. Yeah, he was, he was a pretty big shot in Paris. I didn't know. And he had like a private section, and I'm sitting there feeling like crap. And all of a sudden the guy comes and grabs me and picks me up and puts me on a cocktail table, those high tables.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all laughing, and then puts his head under my skirt.
Wow.
And they're all laughing. And I remember I jumped off that table. I don't know if I can do it now, but I did it then. Humiliated. It's like, whatever.
No, that's...
whatever, and humiliated. And he was laughing. And it turns out he was Philippe Junot. He was Princess Caroline's ex-husband. He's the one that married her when Princess Grace was freaking out.
He's a very good-looking guy. I recall.
He was a jerk. That's why Princess Grace was so angry. But anyway, so I was very humiliated, and I did kind of vow I'm gonna know what to wear going forward. But I was young. I had no idea. I had not gone to a discotheque yet.
But you know what? I love that even at 23, you were up for an adventure.
Yeah.
And you gave it your best shot, because if you think about all the women that you've worked with, all the women I work with, who are afraid to try something because it might not work out. And this is something even about myself, Scarlett, I don't think I realized for a very long time. I kept in a very narrow lane without even like officially making the decision to do this. I realized that I was only doing things that I already knew I'd be good at. And now some people might say, oh, that's just being in your zone of genius. And I'm like, no, not really. I didn't even know what my zone of genius was. I was being a big old scaredy cat and thinking that I was being more successful that way. No, I was like the person who always wore the same thing and didn't want to make a mistake. Right. So my range was really narrow. I want to tell you a couple of quick stories that I'm wondering how you would advise one of your clients to deal with. Because the truth is, we can help our clients become more confident, get better at taking risks, being willing to leave their comfort zone, experiment with trial and error, and just give yourself permission to grow. We both do a lot of that. But in truth, people can be assholes. And sometimes when you encourage someone to take a risk, something bad happens. So I'm going to tell you two stories. One, I'm very tall. You and I haven't met in person yet. I hope one day we will. But I'm almost 6 feet tall. And for many years, I wore 4-inch heels, not because I was trying to take some unfair height advantage, but because I just really liked beautiful shoes, and many of the shoes I fell in love with just had these big ass heels. So I often wore 4-inch heels. And I remember a woman considerably shorter than me at my gym when I lived in LA. I worked out at the gym, got ready at the gym, and there I was with my outfit for the day. And I had my tall heels on, and she was probably about 5 feet or 5'2", looking and wearing flats, looking me up and down, up and down, up and down. I thought, okay, what's going on over here? And finally she says to me, so how tall are you? And I said, 5'11". Well, those shoes have to be what, like 3, 4? I said, they're 4 inches. Well, that would make you, and I'm like, oh my God, is this a math lesson? That would make me 6'2" in these shoes. And she just looked so disgusted and said, don't you think you're tall enough already? First of all, I was confused. Like, what's it to you? Like,
boundaries, please. Boundaries.
Yeah. I was just like, I really am having a hard time understanding why you would give a care. But if that happened to one of your clients, and then I got an even better story, what would you tell her? You've encouraged her, stop wearing the flats, go for the heels. You've got a whole bunch of heels in the shoe boxes you've never worn. Get them out and put them on. And then something like that happened. What would you tell her?
The only opinion that matters is your own. So when you look in the mirror and you like what you see, that's all that matters. Not the stranger in the locker room, not the person passing by in the dressing room, not your mother, your sister, your friend, or neighbor. I always, when I find something for someone to wear, I tell them, I'm not going to tell you what I think. I want you to have an opinion, because that's what's really counts. So if you feel great in those heels, fantastic. If you're someone that can't wear heels, then don't wear heels. There are plenty of other shoe options these days that look good, that don't have to be, high heels. Some people can't wear them anymore. But
I don't wear them anymore. Now I mostly wear Oxfords, and I've learned to love those. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always your opinion, and then it goes back to the self-confidence. You have to own how you feel about how you look, and you should be able to do things that make you feel good about how you look and how you feel. It's absolutely possible. So yeah, to hell with it. Screw the other people. That's the person who's challenged in height, and so they're jealous.
And that was exactly what I was thinking, is that she's jealous. And you know what? That is the perfect, and I think you're going to give me the same advice for the other quick story. That's really the perfect comeback. The only opinion that matters is your own.
That's right.
Like, that is a complete sentence and very wise advice. So the other quick story is involving a friend, actually now a former friend. I got these shoes as a gift from my husband. They're Kate Spade, which now that she's no longer with us, they mean even more to me. And they're flats, but they look like a taxi cab. They have wheels on the side. So cute. I'll send you a photo.
Yeah.
Wheels on the side. They're pointed in the front. It says taxi. They're yellow and white with black. And so I styled them with just a simple top and simple cropped pants, so that the shoes just carried the day. Right. And I went to go see a friend who had also invited some other friends. And she took one look at those shoes and said, wow, you'd have to be pretty confident to wear those. And because we had known each other for so many years at that point, it was all I could do not to say, well, since we both know that I am, what's your point?
Yeah, interesting.
But she actually repeated it again. Like, right. Well, you'd have to be pretty confident to wear those. And I said, well, here's the thing, friend. Obviously, I like them, and obviously you don't. And then I turned to the waiter and I ordered a glass of wine, and then we just went on with the day. And I think she really wanted to stick it to me, and I just wasn't having it, because I loved those shoes, and I still do. They stand out in a big way.
Yeah. Hey, look, I have a really good client who has a pair of shoes that are Campbell's soup cans design. And any outfit I come up with for her that I can put those shoes with it, go for it, because you know what? She had a negative comment, but I'm going to tell you right now that the majority of other people were like, that is fantastic. There's always one bad apple. There's always one like naysayer, but the rest of the room is going, that is so cool. I mean, how cool is that you have that confidence? I want to know that person.
Yes.
And so it's like, go for it, because you want people to say, that's who I want to talk to.
Yep. I have two more questions for you. One is, what do you think it means when somebody says she's always so put together? What do you think put together means? Because that's something people say a lot.
Yeah. I think it means that the person really is, I can't think of the right word, exuding confidence. You can't look put together if you don't feel confident. So there is a part to that. That's part of it. Put together would mean that you really have the accessories as well as the outfit. Mm-hmm. So some people might put an outfit on, but then they might be wearing, like Crocs or something on the bottom, uber casual. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they have on, a pretty top and a nice pair of pants, and the shoes are okay. They kind of disappear, but then they didn't put any accessories. They didn't finish it. Yes. And so you're put together when you've finished the outfit, when it's complete. And that also includes, you brushed your hair, put a little lipstick or something on, but it's when you have it paid attention to every detail. And that would be the hair, the makeup, the accessories, the clothes, and the shoes. And that's really what I think put together is. In a good way put together, not like off-putting or, not going too far. Like some people wear one label here, and then the handbag is another label and the shoes another label. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about you paid attention. You showed that you cared. Mm-hmm. That's really what put together is. You made an effort, and it shows, and it changes how you stand and how you talk and how other people see you.
And that is the first thing I thought of the first time I saw you. is
Aw.
that she's really put together, meaning, and I'm West Coast, you're East Coast, so maybe those words don't land for a New Yorker the way I intend them. But to me, it looks like this is a person who cared enough to go through the entire look, and even to the point where your look is on brand, because the name of your company, Scarlett Image, it's because your name is Scarlett and you often use a pop of red, with whether it's red lipstick, red nails, red purse, red necklace like today. And it's like that attention to detail and that level of simple creativity, because you don't dress in an extravagant way. It's thoughtful.
No.
It's intentional. I think of it as simple elegance. That really stands out. And I should probably hire you at some point, because that's exactly the way, like, who wants to look in their closet and feel like a dumbass because they bought all this stuff that they can't wear when you
Right.
could get comments like that. So I'm sure anybody listening is going to be like, I have to know more about this lady. And they don't all have to be in New York, because even though you've made a name for yourself and you are asked to speak and you have a book and you've been called some very nice things in some very public places, but people can also work with you virtually. So let's just spend a minute while we're wrapping up talking about, if anybody wants to know more about Scarlett Image, what are the different things that you might have to offer them?
So, I've been working virtually for 11 years. So this is not a new thing for me. So
This is not a COVID thing.
this is not a COVID thing. No. So
Gotcha.
very happy. I have a client who's a coach. And I said to her one day, I can't do this anymore, driving back and forth. It's getting too hard with my son and all that. And she said, why don't you work virtually? And I went, that's ridiculous. That's insane. But I did it, and in half a year was half my business. So it's wonderful. It's great. So what I do is I take a look at what a woman, her features, her photographs, and also what's in her closet. And I explain to her exactly what specific styling details are right for her. And then I make it possible for her to open up her closet and always have a new outfit, because I have a program where there's a lookbook and I create all the outfits so she can just click and see what she wants to wear that
From
day
her
for whatever
existing closet?
From her existing closet. I take the clothes, I manipulate the photos, and I show all the different outfits that can be created with it. It's fantastic.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool program. Yeah. So that she always has a lookbook. She also has a find where I show, the links to all the things that I feel that she should try, that she can get online, and clicks on it. When she likes it, clicks it, goes into her closet automatically on the computer. And then I have more things to work with to make outfits. But the end result is she is going to have less in her closet, because I'm going to help her see what I say isn't good enough for her anymore. Stop taking the clothes that aren't good enough for you.
Stop settling.
Stop settling, right? And then I show all the different possibilities, which also is very helpful for packing, because if you have all the clothes that mix and match, you don't have to take as much, because women tend to overpack. So basically, it's a very seamless, easy way to work. And then what women like about the virtual part of it is they prefer me not going into their closet. A lot of women don't want me to see their closet. My virtual business initially grew with local people, not even far away, because they're like, I'd rather you not come into my home and see my closet. People have closet things. I don't know. No closet is bad, but some people just get
It's less intimate this way, so that
maybe,
there's not that obstacle of intimacy, so that you can just get right to work.
Right.
Love it.
So it's good.
And you're saving tons on taxi fare too for the local people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I save a lot on gas and a lot on hours. I'm no longer commuting, which is great. And I do work in person a little bit still also. But for the most part, I have people who live, 20 minutes away or an hour away, and they still use the virtual service. COVID, yes. And also because it's just convenient.
Yes.
Just so much. They meet with me like an hour on Zoom, and then they get to shop when they feel like shopping, so they can have dinner and do it. They don't have to be in a store. Most of my clients hate shopping, by the way.
Yes.
I had one who told me she'd rather have root canal than go shopping.
I wouldn't go that far. I've had like 5 of them, but but I get it.
But not everybody loves it. So my deal is to make it easy and, not stressful and a lot less painful.
Well, what is your tagline? We're going to finish with this. What's your tagline?
Stop stressing about dressing.
Yes, ma'am. Stop stressing about dressing. And because when you put on your armor, when you put on your ball gown, when you put on whatever action you need to suit up and show up for, you should feel amazing.
Yep.
And you make that so much easier.
Confidence, and then confidence.
Yeah. That's like location. There's something about the rule of 3. It totally works. Thank you, my friend. This was such a great and really helpful and inspiring conversation.
Thank you. Same here. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Driven Woman podcast with Diane Wingert. Want more straight talk and strategy each week that will take you from spinning to winning? Don't forget to hit subscribe in your podcast player so you won't miss a single episode. Then head on over to the Driven Woman free and private Facebook group community. See you there.